Shut the fuck up, I'm ready. What up, y'all? Let me start recording. I don't know what I did. It is totally different. I'm not complaining though. What up, y'all? It is your boy A Switch, aka the Buttermilk Biscuit Bandit, aka the Sugar Cookie Killer, aka let me get you gonna finish that. No, my bad. AKA Mr. You gonna finish that. Bringing you yet another episode of Switches Sites podcast, my solo gaming podcast where I talk about obviously video games and other nerd related stuff. So, boy, oh boy, oh boy, a lot of interesting stuff happening this week. Today's date is September 4th, 2019. Recording this a day early because oh boy, we got some heavy hitters coming out. You hear me? We got them damn bangers hitting out. Okay, we got Gears of War 5. We got Monster Hunter Iceborne. It's about to be a goddamn problem. You hear me? You hear me? So obviously my time's going to be allocated to those two titles specifically, considering the major time commitment it's going to take regardless to even put a dent in those games. More so Monster Hunter, but either way, you get what I'm saying. So yeah, man, it is. But on aside of that, boy, I'm just immediately just over enamored right now. I feel immediately overwhelmed. Immediately overwhelmed. Seriously, this. So probably the biggest news of this week, by hands down, is the Nintendo Direct. Good God, man. So much news just dropped. I'm just overwhelmed with all the games that I gotta fit in the time to play it somehow. To play them somehow. First world problems. Really are. First world problems if I ever ever witnessed them. But let's get into it. So Nintendo Direct just dropped earlier today. And man, I'm gonna say it again, man. They just dropped some just bombs of news. It was crazy. So we'll go down the list, kind of dissect each one. First one was, of course, what's been heavily rumored. I believe we talked about it last episode with the Overwatch leak on a Nintendo Switch. With there was a Nintendo Switch case that was leaked. There was a Nintendo Switch leak. There was a Nintendo Switch case leak on the previous channel, or not previous channel, previous you know what I'm saying. On Amazon, there was a listing for a Nintendo Switch Overwatch Edition leak with the very renowned company that did licensed products. And lo and behold, that rumor was true. They announced Overwatch is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Boy oh boy. Apparently pretty much everything intact. You know, with the expectations of what Overwatch is, but all in all, that in of itself is just oppressive and an achievement. Apparently there's going to be a physical edition, but it's only going to be download only. Technically, there's going to be a case with a voucher. Just like, okay, $40, 40 bones. Comes with like, I think 1 month of the Nintendo Switch Online. If you don't have that and you wanted to get Overwatch, then it comes with Noir Widowmaker skin and a golden loot box. So, man, I really hope. I'm guessing it's gonna be when whatchamacallit, darn it, what is it? BlizzCon. I am really hoping and praying we get cross can I even say words? Cross progression for Overwatch, because I do kind of dibble and dabble with Overwatch on the PC, PS4, Xbox, and now eventually Nintendo Switch. I'm going to probably wait until Overwatch goes on sale for Switch, probably jump in, but if they announce like cross progression, that definitely would sell me into trying it out for the Switch, whenever I'm traveling or something like that. So all in all, good news that we technically already knew, but just got confirmation on. But pretty dope, pretty cool. I like it. I'm very curious how it's gonna run. Overwatch is not really. It's one of the least demanding games, probably like in line with Overwatch or Counter-Strike Go. So I'm pretty sure, obviously they wouldn't have did it if they didn't think they could do it for the Switch. So, yeah, I'm pretty certain that it's gonna run, to Blizzard's quality standards, for Switch. So, they did announce some weird stuff though, specifically for the Switch version, is that you can use gyro controls, but who in their right mind for a competitive game is gonna use gyro controls? I think they showed in the trailer, what's his name? What is his name? Junkrat. Let's see if I can play the video. Let's play that video. Let's dissect this trailer a little bit. It's like, yeah, that's fine. It looks good. At least if I'm assuming this is Switch footage. It looks just fine. Looks like totally playable. Yeah, like who's gonna do that? And aiming? Get out of here. Who in their right mind in a competitive game is gonna aim with gyro controls? I'd love to see that. I mean, somebody out there is probably gonna do it, but I mean, I guess if you want to do that, by all means. Oh, 3 months of Nintendo Switch. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, that's just either way. I mean, it's Overwatch, so I mean, I'm sad. I'd be satisfied. But yeah, interesting stuff. And good God, probably the biggest news reveal during this Nintendo Switch. It's definitely one of the tops for me personally, at least. Freaking Deadly Premonition Origins. Okay, let's show this trailer real quick.
It all begins again.
Deadly Premonition 2. The game we never thought we'd ever see. I totally just wrote it off in my head.
14 years ago.
14 years. I think they said it's gonna be like go back in time and then go forward past the original or something like that. It's gonna mix in between that. But I am so damn invested. I am so damn invested.
Deadly Premonition 2, a blessing in disguise.
You damn right I'm gonna play it. I know people were fearful about Deadly Premonition 2 not being directed by Swery, but they did confirm that they did definitely confirm that it's going to be what am I thinking of? That it is gonna be on Twitter, Swery confirmed that he's gonna be directing and writing Deadly Premonition 2. So that's all I needed. I am totally sold. Day one, invested, buying in. I definitely can't wait. On top of that, they also announced Deadly Premonition Origins was basically the first Deadly Premonition. I think it's the director's cut that's gonna be on Nintendo Switch. Yeah, and that's out today. I think they just straight shadow dropped that today. I'm definitely gonna try that. I know we tried streaming that, the PC version. Boy, did that not go well. So I think I'm gonna probably at some point stream the Switch version on Twitch TV/aswitch. See how that's laying. But good God, I mean, that just took me off guard. I wasn't expecting to hear that today, but I am very, very thankful. I can't wait to, I hope the whistle theme comes back. I can't. I'm not whistling, but you get it. You get it, right? I mean, yeah. Can't wait for the weird ham and strawberry jelly. No, I think it's grape jelly sandwiches that Zach is gonna want. I want it all. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. I'm ready for it. Deadly Premonition 2, the game I never thought we ever see. It is exclusive to the Nintendo Switch, so there's that. But yeah, man, I am definitely gonna get that. Definitely picking that up. No doubt about it. Don't even consider. Don't even guess. I am definitely going to play that game. Y'all don't realize this. This is Deadly Premonition 2. This is great. This is fantastic news. Probably the only person. Well, no, there's a cult. It's a game that had a very cult following. So I mean, it's clearly understandable that a lot of people are maybe not aware or what have you. But I believe that's my mission, my duty to kind of enlighten those folks to stream it at some point from there. So yeah, man, that was such great news. That's probably my favorite, probably my most favorite news reveal at this direct specifically, for sure. But probably very close to that is Smash news. So with Smash, we did get there has been some speculation about Terry Bogard possibly being the next revealed character, and for sure it is. They did announce my boy Terry Bogard is coming to Smash. They had a really cute reveal, kind of, playing with your expectations. Almost thought Geese was gonna make a double appearance, be both in Tekken and this. They also did show a couple other the known characters I'm not too familiar with, to be honest, because I've never really played too many SNK games like that. Well, specifically the King of Fighter series. I believe that's the most known or popular series common to most people. But then, you know, they finally got it. It's like, you know what? This came in my house. Let me pick it up. What is this? What is this? Let me join the fight. Come on. Are you alright? That's a move. That's the best I got. That's the best I got. Are you okay? Bust a move. Are you alright? Bust a move. That's golden, right? Come on now. They need to stop playing. Let me be the voice actor coming up in this for Terry specifically. I'm gonna nail it. Nail it without question. Without question. So yeah. Are you okay? After that, Sakurai had a more detailed direct specifically for Smash, where they showed a little bit of his moves, but you know, they said he was still in development. So from what he's seen, his character design looks very cool. It looks very true to his whatchamacallit origins. So I mean, that's great too, you know what I mean? So I'm definitely excited to try him out. And Jesus, man, this freaking roster of Smash characters is like, it's goodness. It's so many crossovers. So now you could technically have Street Fighter cross SNK again, or Capcom versus SNK. This is gonna be great. It's gonna be great. Smash is just it's such an immaculate game. It's gonna be it's gonna be damn near impossible to see this ever come to be again. So I think I'm definitely just soaking it in and just enjoying every damn moment of just this Smash fandom. Having all these cool characters from all these very drastically different universes coming together and duking it out. Man, Jesus. This game is just getting better and better with each character they add, I swear. So yeah. And then on top of that, I forgot to mention, they announced that on top of the five character fighter pass, they're even gonna have more DLC characters in development on top of that. So I'm guessing probably like similar to like Street Fighter or Tekken, like a season type format where they're just gonna have like, you know, season 2 character pack or something like that. So it's pretty apparent that they're gonna try to go for 100 characters, because I think at least the starting roster before the DLC pack was like 85-ish or something like that. So I would not be surprised if they're just gonna try to shoot for 100. And you know, sales have been good, at least according to Sakurai and the direct and whatever. So he's like, hey, I'm gonna go for the gusto. But poor Sakurai, man. That dude, like, it's like he say it all the time in directs. He's like, I get no sleep. I get no sleep. I slave over making this game. Please help me. Please help me. I'm hurting here. They want me to keep making Smash, but I want to stop at some point. But I respect Sakurai. I respect that hustle. He just trying to make the best game he can, and he gonna keep going at it because he knows this is, at least what he conveyed in the direct, is gonna be like a one-time thing that's only gonna happen once, to have all these characters from all these different licenses and IPs and just licensing in general. We all know how much of a nightmare that's gonna be. That is just gonna be great in general, man. That is crazy. Jesus, even more DLC fighters. I was like, okay, I guess it's just gonna be the 5 and we'll leave it at that. But then on top of that, even more DLC fighters. I'm just amazed by that. It's just hard to fathom that, like, 84 characters in a Smash game, on top of balancing all the characters and how they, how they interact with other characters. And Jesus, that's a lot of work, a lot of maintenance to keep all that together. And then they also announced, I believe, it's gonna be, obviously Banjo-Kazooie 2. They announced he is dropping today officially, with the new patch update 5.0. I want to say 5.00, I believe, that comes with even another mode, which is supposedly the final mode. But I mean, consider Sakurai, who knows? We might get more modes, maybe. But called Home Run Contest, which is returning. I think it was in a few previous Smash games. So I'm all for it. I want it all. Just give me Sakurai. Just give me your best and your worst at the same time. I want it all. Just give me everything. Then they also announced a few miscellaneous Mii fighter costumes. Probably the most notable is Sans from Undertale. Still got to play that game, but he came with his own track and all that. Banjo-Kazooie has a lot of tracks and a new stage that was pretty cool. It rotates around. That's I think a first for a Smash stage, technically in history. So that was cool. The direct Sakurai had was just funny internal. So many meme potential. So much meme potential there, because like he literally went into so much detail about how he was trying to convey how he plays compared to with a GameCube controller, where he stacked the two on top, and whatchamacallit, he was trying to do that, but he couldn't really do it with the Pro controls which he had at the time. So he was like, yes, this is very difficult and more of a pain playing by yourself or whatever. And he's like, I think after it, and he was like, well, obviously don't do what I'm doing. Obviously play with other people. But it was like, you couldn't, like, clearly there was a whole crew laughing, like when he was, going through the whole direct. It's like, you couldn't like get one of the, I know it's gotta be a PA in there somewhere to try to, help out, or just, give him a look or whatever. But he was like, you know what? I guess maybe he's just that type. He's like, hey, I'm gonna do it myself. I know how to do it myself. Maybe you just want to be fancy, showing off, hey, I made Smash. I know how to Smash. So, I mean, if you want this work, you can get this work any day you want. Okay. So, that was funny. That was so funny to me. It's just, especially, on top of that, his translator is like, it's just so dry and lifeless. It's like such a dry sense of humor that I think is kind of unintentional majority of the time, but at other times it's kind of intentional. So it's like, what are we doing here? What are we doing? But it technically worked for me either way. So, man, that was pretty great in general. And then, he just goes on some random tangents, like going back to Sans. He was talking about, the creator of Undertale designed the character, and he actually came to my house, and he's actually pretty good at Smash. He's probably the best I played. We did 50-50, but out of that, he he may have won more than I like to admit or whatever. It was just weird and funny at the same time. It's like, I guess, sure, that's information I guess we necessarily maybe weren't looking for, but sure, why not? But all in all, pretty good showing, specifically for the Smash aspect of it all. Oh, and Terry Bogard is coming out in November. At least that's his date. And yeah, man, I am still amazed. These are some this is some great representation overall. Man, you got Jesus, man. You got Joker. You got a hero. we got Banjo Kazooie in this bitch. We got Terry Bogard in this bitch. Okay, nobody's stopping us. Best fighting game of all time. Get at me. I'm just translating for Sakurai. He wouldn't say that, but clearly, he would, right? He was also pimping out Xbox. It was funny. He's like, yeah, so he went into whole detail about how Banjo used to be with Rare and now they're with Microsoft. And he's like, please, we know that Xbox is our rival platform, but please play Banjo Kazooie on Xbox One. Said that specifically. Everybody in the crowd was laughing or whatever. It was just weird, so weird in this universe that specifically that get Banjo and Kazooie to work overall. That's just amazing, man. That's just amazing how they were able to get that. But good on Microsoft in general for being able to see the greatness that is Smash and playing nice and offering their IP for just to make this game massive. God, I am so amazed by just how this came to be, including every single character in the history of the series on top of that, and then some. I am gushing. I'm clearly gushing, but it's warranted, It's warranted. And Jesus, on top of this, we got even more news from the Nintendo Street that's just great. Nintendo Switch, I don't know, I said Nintendo Switch. SNES Online is now coming to Switch tomorrow on the 5th. I think there's 20 games that's going to start out. I guess it's similar to the NES Online portion. I'm not sure how, how it started out, but apparently it started out similarly where it had a large amount of games at front and then periodically trickling more games there. But I know the biggest game that stood out to me, I guess before that, let's go over some of the general titles. So we got Super Mario Kart, we got Kirby's Dream Course, we got Super Mario World 2 Yoshi's Island, we got F-Zero. I think that was a lot of a lot of people wanted. At least that kind of acknowledges like, hey, we're not just gonna leave F-Zero on the wayside and never remake it or touch the IP again or whatever. So that's pretty endearing. And from there, Legend of Zelda, Link to the Past, Super Mario World, of course, Star Fox, Stunt Race FX. I'm not even familiar with that one. But the biggest one, for me personally at least, is that Brawl Brothers, aka Russian Beat Syria in Japan. Love me some damn beat 'em ups. I do have a very soft guilty pleasure spot for Rival Turf for the SNES, which is basically the first game in this series. Rival Turf in the US and Russian Beat 1 or Russian Beat in Japan. So this is technically the sequel to that. They renamed it differently in the US because of I think it just wouldn't respond well in terms of naming it Rival Turf 2 or whatever. So there's actually a whole trilogy of these beat 'em ups. So there's Russian Beat, which is Russian Beat in Japan, and Rival Turf in the US for the Super Nintendo. Then there's Russian Beat Syria, which is the one that here, which is Brawl Brothers in the US. And then there's Russian Beat Ran, I think, in Japan, and then the Peacekeepers in the US. So very weird, I guess, marketing strategy. I'm guessing maybe the sales weren't that great at the time, so they tried to switch it up and just make each one different, which is a shame. I really felt they should have kept the continuity of the series. But either way, I'm still happy I could play some Brawl Brothers on the go on my Switch if I wanted to. And you know damn well I am. Okay, that's not even a question. Don't even try to question me if I'm gonna play it. I am gonna play it. Okay, don't even ask me, because I am. I'm just gonna let you know right now, without any hesitation, I definitely will be playing that. It's not even any discussion. Okay, no discussion at all. Probably the most notable that I'm missing, or that isn't initially on here, that I hope will come on here, or come on the Nintendo Switch collection at some point, is definitely the Final Fight 2 and 3. Clearly, we got Final Fight 1 on the whatchamacallit. What is it? The Capcom Beat 'em Up collection. So I could see the odds of 2 and 3 coming to the collection will be pretty likely, in my opinion. I think Capcom could play nice. Clearly, their Street Fighter 5 got Lucia from Final Fight 3, I believe. So wouldn't be too far of a reach to get Capcom to cooperate and add Final Fight 2 and 3 to the collection. I could see that definitely happening. They did, on top of that, they did reveal after this announcement that now characters won't the games won't release on a monthly schedule anymore. It's like now it's like we'll release it when it's ready, basically. So it's gonna be less frequency in terms of, I guess, consistent expected releases of the games. I think that accounts for both the SNES collection and the NES collection. So that's fine, I guess. Just as long as it's not noticeably long between the games, I'd be fine with it. But we'll see. I don't know. We'll see. Overall, though, definitely excited for this. They did announce, of course, in line with the SNES collection, you can get the similar to the NES Online, you can get the SNES controllers too, that are basically natively connects to the Nintendo Switch, and probably presumably other like your PC or stuff like that, via wireless or Bluetooth, I believe. So definitely gonna pick those up, and I think they're way cheaper than the NES controllers too. So cool stuff all around. And there was a couple other miscellaneous announcements, and probably the biggest one, I'm like, come on now. They gonna have the nerve. They're gonna have the audacity. They're gonna have the fortitude to the gumption even to announce Devil May Cry 2 coming to the Switch. They were good to put it in a montage, because man, they know they piss off some people if they try try to have the nuts to try and give it its own specific or dedicated announcement. We all know we want that Devil May Cry 3 now. Don't play with us like that. All right, Capcom, don't be pulling that mess. Don't be pulling that mess. I mean, I might get it if it was cheap enough, but don't be trying to pull that mess on us, Capcom. You know what a failure that game is. Gonna try to promote it and pimp it like it's some greatness, some hot stuff. How dare you, Capcom? How dare you? But at least that somewhat semi-confirms that 3 is eventually going to come to the Switch at some point, which is good. Just at the sacrifice that they're going to announce, they're going to have the nerve to try and oh my God. I ain't gonna lie, I probably wouldn't. If it was cheap enough, I'd probably mess with it. I ain't gonna, it did kind of have some cool stuff to it, but I mean, if I was bored, I was on a plane or something, I just had that, I might mess with it. Damn it, Switch. The convenience gets me every time. Yeah. But those are at least the games that stood out. I know they were remaking a Mana game. I think they announced Dragon Quest 11 Definitive Edition, Xenoblade Chronicles remake or remaster, or I think they said Definitive Edition. What else? That's pretty much it. But man, that's enough to overwhelm my ass. That's for sure. Because it's like I wasn't expecting all this news today. It just caught me off guard. It's like now I'm like in my head trying to figure out, okay, how am I gonna like fit all these games in my schedule? And then I got all these I got Monster Hunter, Gears 5, and then how I'm gonna fit all that in? I still gotta finish Astral Chain. Ugh. We'll get into the game discussion of what I've been playing a little bit later, but oh man, this is first world problems at its finest, man. All these games, not enough time. If that ain't the truth, if that is not the truth. But either way, definitely very satisfied with this Nintendo Direct. A lot of great news coming out here. And good God, that Deadly Premonition announcement. I was not expecting it, but I wanted it so much at the same time. It's the news that I didn't know I needed. For sure. Hands down. Hands down. Moving on. In midst of the Gears 5 announcement, I guess in weird random news, Bautista, who did express a lot of concern, not necessarily concern, but yeah, I guess concern, wanting to be a character in the Gears movie specifically, but at least has a consolation that he's gonna be. I guess so, Bautista. Sure. You look a lot like the one character, Foz. It's like, why every Gears character gotta have glasses now? Is that what's hot in the streets? Why can't we get a Gears character with like some, J's, with a cap backwards? Well, I guess we kind of got Superstar Cole. I'm not sure if he's gonna be in this one. I hope he is. But we need a straight up. I guess maybe my racial bias is coming into play. But we need a straight, inexplicably black Gears character. We had some that kind of teetered that. I mean, we of course had Ice-T, who was who was Aaron Black. No, thinking of Mortal Kombat. Aaron Griffin in other Gears games. But I mean, we need a straight, inexplicably. We did kind of have Killer Mike too. So actually, you know what? I retract that statement. I think we have a very great round of black representation, as well as other ethnical representations as well. So I can't knock Gears for that. I've always been respecting them for that, as well as them adding characters in the series periodically too, specifically with Gears 4, at least not trying to cut off the previous generation of Gears, since this is technically going to be the new generation of Gears and stuff like that. So cool stuff. I guess is kind of like a cross promotion with the WWE Clash of Champions, which I'm assuming is a WWE event or whatever. So sure, I mean, why not? He's not going to be a character I'd select. Probably, my go-to characters is definitely Aaron Griffin if he's in there. Probably not initially, but probably maybe eventually. And my boy Cole. Whoa! Cole Train runs on whole grain, baby. Who? That's a one representation right there. I mean, is Cole in this room? That's what it sounded like. I'm just saying. But yeah, man. Definitely excited for that. They did also reveal some of the reviews for Gears 5. At least so far, it's been a while since I checked. I believe we're in the 80s, so pretty good. I'm probably gonna like it more than that, but we'll find out tomorrow. When I'm definitely gonna be messing with that Gears. That is no question. Don't ask me, cause I am. Okay, I am. In other news, this is probably the most pretty shocking, at least, and kind of depressing at the same time. In a post in Reset Era from the man Vistan, specifically from Ikumi Nakamura, who was the girl probably maybe in conjunction with Keanu Reeves. You're breathtaking, memeable, fandom, fan favorite aspect of E3 2019, was Ikumi Nakamura, who came on stage to announce a new IP with Bethesda and ZeniMax, which was Ghostwire. I forgot the subtitle. Ghostwire Tokyo, Ghostwire Tokyo. I thought it was something more than that. But yeah, she was on stage. She wooed the crowd, include myself, because I was like, oh, okay, all right, I like your personality. She's just so cute, or whatever. And then so that's pretty much what we've been left with since announcing Ghostwire Tokyo. But now, I guess as of today, she announced that pretty much she's not with Tango anymore in ZeniMax. So that just raises a big question of the direction of Ghostwire Tokyo, because she definitely was harking on that this was her project and what she really created in regards to that. And then other tweets down below that basically it's pretty much, it seems like she was let go or she quit. It seems probably most likely due to creative differences. That's most likely it. I would assume maybe could be some other dynamics coming into play that we don't know, but at least from what it seems like either maybe Ikumi had like a meeting with pretty much all the people with Bethesda, ZeniMax, Tango, and maybe they weren't impressed, and then shortly after wanted to can the project and maybe didn't reveal that it's canceled yet, or maybe still figuring out the direction of the project or something like that. But it's hard to say what's pretty much going to happen with the project at this point. And also another point specifically was that Ikumi was supposed to be an apprentice or a protege under the legend Shinji Mikami. For those that don't know, the mastermind that created Resident Evil, and even more specifically brought Resident Evil back again, Resident Evil 4, just to include a few. But this is gonna be weird in terms of that aspect too, because he was trying to basically take on an apprentice that eventually is going to take over, I believe, the company to some extent, or at least that was the plan. But it looks obviously now that's going to be no more. I'm curious if maybe Mikami is maybe going to pick up from where Ikumi left off, or if it's going to be canceled altogether, because I don't know, man. This just seems to not bode well in terms of the game itself overall. But I mean, you never know. We don't know all the details regardless, but losing a creative director who and as well as art director for this game specifically, and obviously there is clearly their vision for the game, So it's hard to see if somebody else is going to, I don't know, like it would drastically change what the intention of the game is, more than likely having a different person taking that role after Ikumi. So I'm very curious to see how that plays out, but yeah, it's sad in general though. But yeah, either it seems like she left or was let go, because yeah, she at least expressed that she's looking for work, but I'm pretty certain she's definitely gonna find something. She helped with The Evil Within. I forgot some of the other titles. I think what was the other one? Okami, and there was another game in particular that I cannot remember that she worked on. And what was it? Don't remember it. Now it's gonna bother me, so I have to look it up. I have to fact check instantly because I don't wanna look like a buffoon. Do you want to look like a buffoon? I don't. So what do we? So where do we go from here? Let me check her on Wikipedia. I'm gonna look up an article. I'm probably gone. Pretty sure they'll say what she did. So yeah, she was developer behind the first Evil Within, Okami Bayonetta, and Resident Evil 2. Wow, I didn't know she was including Resident Evil 2 as well. So yeah, she is definitely gonna find something for sure. Especially, you know, kind of her notoriety being raised after E3 as well. I don't think she's gonna have an issue finding other work. Man, yeah. Resident Evil 2. Bayonetta. That's substantial. Those are the only ones I've, you know, personally played. So that's only my only, you know, at least frame of reference of how great game is there. But that's pretty substantial, man. So I mean, I don't think she'll have an issue finding something else. It's just I'm curious what's the direction of the game though. It seems like since we only got like a CGI trailer, it's hard to tell what state is the game in terms of completion. Is it even like been any builds made or whatever? I'm assuming so, but it's kind of sad. It was looking to be like a, you know, a side thing to Evil Within, you know, an action horror game, kind of maybe similar to Resident Evil 4 and up, kind of, which I was definitely interested in. I'm still interested in. We'll just see what happens, but it's looking kind of in the cancel-y area. Maybe they're just trying to figure out how to convey that or what, but unfortunate news either way. Definitely seems like just creative differences overall. I'm pretty sure that's, if not almost always, the scenario that has people leave or whatever, but we'll see. But I think that covers pretty much news. Jesus, I'm still like amazed. This was a great day. This direct made my day for sure, man. So much greatness. So much greatness I'm very thankful for. But yeah, in terms of what I've been up to outside of or playing specifically, played Control, man. Let's gush about Control, all right? This game, man, pretty damn great. So just to kind of give a little bit of background of the game, it's made by Remedy, the people who made probably the most famous game of them all is the Max Payne 1 and 2 specifically. Rockstar made 3. They also made Quantum Break, which I thought was okay. It was I beat it. So I mean I had a great time with it. But this definitely just knocked it out the park. So basically you play this girl Jessie Faden, who basically is in this weird, mysterious I believe what's called the Old House, which is basically a base for I think they're called the FBC, which is just this weird supernatural organization or organization that's presumably responsible for handling supernatural stuff. That's kind of at least the impression I got. At least the story leads a lot to interpretation from what I played, from playing the whole game. There was a lot of, backstory and like documents you pick up. It was damn near like over 100 something documents that you would pick up to, get a lot of backstory and, kind of make your own, I guess, interpretation of what's going on. But I definitely have to say I wasn't as enthralled in the story as, like, say, Max Payne. I guess just the overall presentation of Max Payne, I think, just sold me in general. Just the whole unique comic booky, aspect of it all, as well as just the great narration of the voice of Max Payne, which I do not remember. Let me look that up real quick. He's also in this game too. James McCaffrey, the voice of Max Payne, and man, he is just an impeccable voice actor that I highly respect. Just the resonance of his voice and just the his delivery is just perfect, man. That's definitely. He's a huge component to my enjoyment of Max Payne 1 and 2 for sure, man. That guy he is great. But yeah, he's in this one. He's the director, who I guess maybe minor early game spoilers, if you will. Happens pretty early in the game, but basically he gets shot or presumably shoots himself in the head, where he's tested with this service weapon, which I guess is kind of like what is a similarity to it? Basically a weapon that determines if the user is strong enough, and if they're not, then they're dead or something like that. Basically a weapon that, judges essentially if the user is worthy. So apparently he wasn't worthy, at least initially. I think they uncover more layers as you play more of the game, but at least from what I played, it was pretty it's very mysterious, and you only uncover that until the end of the game, where you kind of find out more about that specifically. But initially, at least in terms of the story, yeah, like I was saying, didn't really grab me like maybe like Max Payne or Max Payne 2, but I was definitely invested overall in terms of the story. It definitely kept me going to keep trying to find out the mystery, but I don't know, it seemed somewhat clean cut, but I think at the same time they left a lot of the story to the documents and collectibles that you pick up that show all the maybe dynamics going on in the offices and things like that. So I don't know, but it was good enough. It was good enough for sure. I definitely was invested. So I guess that's somewhat maybe attests to the the greatness of the story. So that's generally the gist of it, at least starting out. Obviously you discover a lot of things as you play on, but yeah, so I mean, yeah, you're in this weird supernatural, I guess, agency that handles at least presumably supernatural stuff, it seems. But outside of that, you uncover more things and stuff as you progress in the story. And then you eventually become the director because you pick up that's the term, I guess, for those that are worthy of holding a service weapon, at least what I got. So Jesse picks up the weapon that killed Trench, and now, who was previously the director, mind you, and now she is the director, quote unquote. It seems to be somewhat subjective as what that it kind of implies, but technically you're the head of the company or said agency, at least from what I got from the story. So pretty much after that, you kind of, uncover more of the story and progress and, find out obvious things about, the agency and, why you're actually here, and what you're looking for, your purpose and all that. So that's at least generally, the story starting out. But man, probably the biggest selling point of this game by far, hands down, is the gameplay, without a doubt, because it is substantially great and excellent in all ways, in every way. It's probably definitely the best since Max Payne for sure. Yeah, man. And definitely this game reminds me a hell of a lot. For those that may know or remember, PsyOps, the Mindgate conspiracy for the PS2. Man, it has so many similar concepts and abilities from that. And just to kind of provide a little backstory about that game, basically, that I honestly had a very similar plot. The more I think about it now, that you're this dude, he kind of suffered from a whatchamacallit, not anesthesia, but what is the condition where you forget everything? God damn it. Jesus, Google's saving the day right now. Google's saving my life. Amnesia? It's amnesia, right? Yeah, I think it's amnesia. So he suffered from amnesia where, yeah, he didn't remember anything. And then as he slowly remembers, things about who the person he is, he slowly gains all of his abilities back. And then, obviously at the end of the game, you're just psycho telekinetic badass that can do all these sweet ass abilities. And Control definitely shares a lot of those, because I'm like, this is literally the exact same thing from PsyOps, which obviously I kind of wish that game come back, but I mean, that used to be with Midway, which is no longer, then confusing IPs and licensing and all that. So pretty understandable why that game, at least clearly as of now, hasn't come back. But definitely shares a lot of that. It actually honestly feels like somewhat of a spiritual successor to PsyOps to some extent. Obviously, it doesn't seem like they're in the same universe or whatever, but shares a lot of commonalities with that universe by far. In terms of that, so you get, don't want to try to spoil any of the abilities for those that haven't really played, but you get a lot. That's probably the best way to describe it. You get a lot of the same abilities you got in PsyOps if you played that. But you get like levitation. They showed that in the trailer. Obviously, they call it throw, but basically telekinetic, throwing of objects in the environment, which I thought was pretty cool. It seemed like very realistic. So like if there wasn't any items you had nearby, it would just rip out a slab of concrete out of the floor or wall or pillar nearby, which was really cool, and I respect it. It definitely paid attention to the environments and didn't just do a placeholder object that just came out of nowhere. It seemed like any of the items realistically were ripped from the environment they're from. And then obviously you can use any other objects that are actual objects. It was pretty good about indicating what item that you can pick up or you're about to pick up that's nearby. And I think it felt pretty good in terms of getting the items that I actually wanted to pick up and throw at people, not unintentionally get items I didn't want. So I definitely appreciated that. But I just have to say, at least that towards the end of the game, you are a literal complete badass. I guess with that being said, there was a weird difficulty spikes in the game. It felt like unnecessarily harder. It felt it felt harder than it should at times. In general, though, it felt like health, just hits. Any hits you got just hurt like substantially, and I found myself restarting segments way more than I usually do because of that. There was one scenario where there's this ability that you get pretty early on in the game, so I think it's safe to say is I think they call it barrier, where you basically gravitate a set amount of objects and then use it as a shield for yourself that way. And that basically protects you from majority of damage. It's basically like a threshold it has of the damage you get, where after that then the barrier will go away, and then any damage you get after that you'll get. You can of course improve that with skill trees, where you can actually take more damage from those shields before they destruct or whatever. So all that was pretty cool. But I find myself having a hard time early on because I did miss that ability, because it was technically missable. But yeah, after I got it, I definitely found myself having a bit of an easier time, but it still was substantially difficult at a fair amount of moments too. So that's one thing at least to kind of be aware of going into the game initially. And I don't think I checked, there wasn't any way to scale the difficulty at all. So it seems like it was just straight base difficulty that you kind of had to deal with. Outside of that, yeah, man, just the gameplay, it flows so well. And then, some cool stuff, like probably my favorite highlight of the game. There's a particular set of soldiers that shoot rockets at you. And of course, you being Jesse McFadden, or Jesse Fadden, the telekinetical badass that she is, she can of course, when a rocket gets shot at her, she can grab it, like telekinetical fashion. Is that a word? That is a word now. And then throw it back at the person, which is just the most fulfilling aspect of the game, I'd say. And even like if you kind of miss it, or if it like goes over your shoulder, that's even the cooler part, is that if you do it at a reasonable time, it will pull it back from behind you, and then again you can throw it at the person, which is just great. So damn great. That was like the best return of sender components of a game I've definitely witnessed by far. But yeah, overall, man, the gameplay is just great, substantially great. With the caveats I mentioned, where some enemies and just difficulties are just unnecessarily high. Like just when you get hit by stuff, you lose a gigantic amount of health unreasonably, in my opinion. But maybe down the line they'll add difficulties or whatever. From what I played, it didn't seem like you can adjust the difficulty, at least, or could you? Or could you? Maybe you could have. I think I picked the reasonable one that, this is the difficulty for experienced action players or whatever. Maybe I did. I'm not 100% on that, but either way, at least from the normal difficulty I played, it felt substantially difficult. But maybe it could be just a base difficulty. Not 100% sure about that. But outside of that, there was a lot of glaring technical issues that were pretty annoying. At least the first one that just was irritating at times is basically in the game. And I played this on the Xbox One X, mind you. This is supposedly, according to what people are saying, the best console version. Clearly the PC is the best version. I don't think there's been any glaring issues that have been reported with the PC version. And of course it's on Steam, or not Steam, Epic Game Store. So I was like, I'll wait until it's on Steam, because it has this timed exclusivity. So it's going to come out a year after from Epic Game Store to Steam. So I was like, I think I'll thoroughly enjoy the Xbox One X version, since that technically should be the best version out of the consoles. But either way, there were still issues I ran into. Yeah, the most notable was the map specifically. So whenever you try to pull up the map, it doesn't, sometimes it doesn't load properly. So you'll just get a map that just has the names of the people, or I mean the names of the locations, but doesn't show the layout or actually the architecture of getting to it. So you're just looking at a blank map with names and, you know, no way to mentally figure out how to navigate them until, you know, I kept like, normally I would open it and close it a couple of times, and sometimes that will work. Sometimes coincidentally, if I load into a different area in the map, it will kind of work, but it was very inconsistent and unreliable majority of the time. And then the other one was definitely the frame rate. Definitely chugged it a lot of times. Coincidentally, while you have the map open too, the frame rate would go like way below like 15 frames per second. So that was pretty irritating. There was this one weird glitch too, where I guess after a certain point in the game, or I'm not sure how it's triggered, but after you get maybe upgrade a particular weapon over this one. So there's this weapon, I guess minor spoilers, it's I'm just gonna name it. I'm not really gonna describe what it is. It's this weapon in the game called Pierce, where you get it and then you can upgrade it after you get it, you know, to level 1, 2, and 3. So it seems like some weird glitch, at least I encountered specifically, but I believe when I researched it, other people are getting it too, where I'm not sure how it's triggered, but maybe after you reach a certain point in the game, it doesn't let you upgrade it after. It just doesn't show it all. But apparently these are all going to be addressed in a later patch, but, you know, obviously it would have been nice to have that all resolved starting out. So, but outside of that, I thoroughly enjoyed it. There was one other issue too, I forgot. There was at times it seemed like particular audio would cut out or wouldn't play at all, or, you know, I had subtitles on, so it would be, you know, particular cutscenes or audio logs that would not play the audio of each, you know, of whatever's being played. And then in those scenarios, I had to like fully close out of the game on the Xbox and then restart the game. I think I just, as an additional measure, I just did a full restart on the whole Xbox just to be safe. And that seemed to have worked. It seems like a cache thing, or, you know, how the game architecturally handles memory. At least that's what it feels like, but hard to say. That was another annoying issue. So I'll like be playing like a really important cutscene toward the end game, and then it would, you know, not play any audio, and I'm like, part of me thought like, is this intentional? Maybe this is like she's just thinking about it or whatever. But then I was thinking, no, I don't think so. And then of course, after basically restarting the same segment where the audio wasn't showing or playing, I was able to actually hear the audio after that. So that was cool. I mean, well, I wasn't trying to be sarcastic anyway, but just, very minor annoying things that kind of hindered from my enjoyment of the game, but overall didn't really detract from just the overall thorough enjoyment of the gameplay of Control. And that's definitely where I think Control really shines, is that it just has some impeccable gameplay and flow, especially when you unlock all the abilities. That's for sure when the game shines, hands down. There's also really some cool lore that I don't want to spoil as well, that I'll at least hint at, kind of maybe possibly connects some universes to some extent that you may be familiar with. I thought that was a pretty cool, delightful surprise within the game as well. So all in all, thoroughly enjoyed Control. Also, one aspect too is that, man, the achievements for that game were really, really respectable. They weren't too hard. It seems like, and I never opened up the achievement list. I just played the game thoroughly through the end or to the end. And like, I literally got like, I only have like two, well, actually at the time I had like 4 achievements left that I had to get that were pretty reasonable. Some where I was just very close to getting. And then this was after I beat the game. So yeah, I really respected Remedy for, you know, having some really doable achievements that weren't like too drastically out of the way. Like eat eat 50 collectibles or eat 50,000 collectibles and you'll get, I don't know, you'll get maybe 20 gamer score. I don't know. You know how Xbox be with the, well, I mean, you know, Xbox and PlayStation be with achievements. Ultimately, I guess it's contingent on the developer, but I respect Remedy for having doable, reasonable achievements. Let me say that, reasonable achievements. Not like, you know, freaking Gears of War 1 and all other Gears after that, seriously, achievement where you got to get 10,000 kills. Let me go on a little sub rant, okay? Like, people, developers, please don't do these damn multiplayer achievements that are contingent on a player base that may not be here like 10 years, 5 years down the line after a game is done. Like, come on now. Stop it. Okay. That's a big gripe I have. Because clearly we're going to play the multiplayer. We don't need any achievements to prove that we play the multiplayer great or whatever. I just hate how they confine people that maybe don't even want to play multiplayer or, you know, fellow achievement trophy hunters and stuff like that. I'm just saying. Okay. Sorry. Had to get on my soapbox for a second. Okay. I had to. But yeah, outside of that, thoroughly enjoyed Control. A great game. Probably not my personal game of the year, but definitely up there by sure. By sure. Whatever. Let's go with it. For sure. So yeah, I could definitely see it being probably in the top 5. I have to reflect on all the great games that came out this year. I may probably do that maybe for a podcast at some point. Try and, you know, duke that out, dish that out, try to figure that out. I don't know. In other games I've been playing, of course, Astral Chain. So this is exclusive to Nintendo Switch. This is made by Platinum, the people that did make Bayonetta, Metal Gear, Rise and Revengeance. And man, at first I was like, what is this? What is this? What is this? You got some like looking like some mechs or some JoJo stand looking, I don't know what this is. But man, actually the more you play it, man, just the creativity I was very astounded by. So at least in terms of story, I'm pretty early on. This is probably like I'm maybe under 5 hours. Control took like my whole weekend, this past Labor Day weekend when I was playing it. But at least specifically for Astral Chain, you start out as a cop of I guess it's this cop of this futuristic universe. I'm not sure what the terminology is of, you know, everything yet, but you're basically in this seems semi-futuristic, it's pretty futuristic universe where you basically have these creatures, I guess. I think it's safe to say. Are they called astrals? I forgot the term. No, they're called, what is it? Chimera. So Chimera are basically these creatures that are generally bad or evil, and want to kill you probably. But I guess this one guy, I forgot his damn name. They show you the cutscene early on in the game. They somehow are able, with the technology they have, they're able to convert this Chimera into a like controlled monster, basically, I guess best way to think about it is a dog on a leash, or maybe a dog that has rabies on the leash. That's probably more accurate. So basically, with this technology, only, I guess, from what the story hints at so far, only a select few can possess this this power. I guess they call it the astral. I forgot the term. I think it's astral, or just possess a chimera. Either way, only a select few people can possess this device that lets you control a chimera, or control chimera, I guess, in this case. So that's at least the general plot. You do, when you start off the game, you can select between two characters. So you can select between a female or a male, and I guess presumably whatever character you don't pick will automatically be Akira, I guess a gender neutral name. And then from there, the story pans out. That character will have a fully blown voice actor, but you are just a mute, person that just, yes, doesn't talk at all. But so you are that, and then you have this cool base that you go to. It seems to be a lot of side missions in general, but just the gameplay itself, I think, is the biggest highlight here. Again, kind of similar to Control, where basically it's just so creative, man. So basically, you're tethered to this monster that you can, call out and call back and whatever at your, will. And then you can do some cool stuff with that. So like you can wrap your monster around the enemy, and then they'll be, if you wrap them around them fully, they'll be like temporarily disabled or stunned, where you can then lash out and get some hits in. So you yourself as a character, you can fight, probably not as elaborate as the monster, but you can still hold your own reasonably well. You can like dodge and counter. You can do like perfect counter parries, where you can do some pretty good damage. And then on top of that, as the game opens up, you can also incorporate your monster into that as well, so they can like follow up with those moves too. And then there's like certain perfect opportunities where you can, like, I forgot what they call it, but there's like certain animations where your character flashes, where you can instantly call your monster to do combos in that way, like very similar to, very Platinum-esque fashion in terms of how combos are handled, a la the Bayonetta series and not Metal Gear as much. I don't think Metal Gear has substantial, like, I think it did, but at least the better basis, or accurate basis, is from Bayonetta in that respect. So you definitely get a lot of that Platinum flair in that respect, which I definitely thoroughly appreciated. That's what I was concerned about, because like initially starting out, I was like, this is just a monster that you like control, and then on top of that, it can generally fights on its own. You don't necessarily control it as much as you think, but as the game opened up, it did reveal those capabilities where you can actually control it to a fair extent by incorporating it into your personal combos as well, which is really cool. So that definitely amazed me from that standpoint. Just the creativity, man. I was just amazed by that, just how they're able to think of something like this that, at least in my opinion, has never necessarily been done before. I mean, maybe the closest reference, like I mentioned earlier, is probably JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, where you had the stands, where it kind of, but that's technically different because, seemed like, actually, no, yeah, it's fairly similar. It's a monster that, you can somewhat control and call at your will. Yeah, you're right. And then on top of that, some people can see it, some people can't. Yeah, it's pretty much treated the same. Either way, it's still pretty creative in that respect. Either way, in terms of the chain that you're tethered with, and be able to use that. If monsters like are tend to charge, you can also draw your basically have your astral chain pretty much out between you and the monster. And then when the enemy charges, they'll be like, they could get pushed back from it and like disabled that way, which is really cool. Just a lot of cool creative stuff that you never thought you could do with like a tethered monster. And you know, in terms of the cutscenes and stuff too, it was pretty impeccable with how they did all that as well, at least so far. And then on top of that, you know, on top of the great action, there was a lot of you know, them being police agents or detectives or policemen. You can there is a substantial, at least from what I played so far, reasonable amount of crime investigation or detective work, a la, you know, Batman, and like somewhat LA noir to an extent, at least from what I've seen. So, you know, you investigate the scene. It was for example, for this early mission, you were trying to discover what ravaged this town that you came in, and you know, you try to find out the dynamics of what happened. So you looked at like some a destroyed street, and you know, you were trying to find traces where you kind of incorporate your I'm gonna just call them your monster. That's probably the best way to describe it for now. I forgot or chimera. I'll just call it chimera. That's maybe more accurate. So your chimera kind of helps in some of that. Cool thing is that you can eavesdrop with your chimera, because in the universe, since majority of people can't see your chimera, they can help in a lot of ways. And that also, it's really, I guess, subjective in how they're seen or not, but generally the consensus is that they can't be seen for the most part. So in this scenario, there were some police officers in the scene, like, you know, talking and chit chatting. You don't know what they're talking about necessarily, but if you eavesdrop on them, where basically you call your your chimera out and control it near the detectives, they'll be chatting out like, "Hey, man, these damn dudes, these damn characters with these damn chimeras, they think they the shit. They not. They dumb. But they dumb. We better than them. We fight with a heart." Or, you know, something like that. So they were basically talking shit about us being the, you know, I guess higher elevated officers. I forgot the term they referred to them as, but basically that's the gist of it. And then, you know, you kind of find more details about that, finding the tracks and traces and trying to realize what that is. And then when you find pretty much all the evidence you need, at least in the scenario of what we played recently, you go to the one character, your dad technically, and he, you know, asks you like, okay, you found out everything, what can we deduce from all this? And then, you know, you kind of answer somewhat of a questionnaire, if you will, and then, you know, kind of deduct and successfully, you know, solve the case, since you will come to a conclusion one way or another. So all that entailed, that was a pretty cool distraction from, you know, the general gameplay and combat, you know, with your chimera or whatever. So, and then I touched on the base earlier, but your base seems to be your just central base where you can do some sub stories. You can train the combat mechanics and stuff like that, and presumably some other stuff that I have not found out as of yet, but it was pretty cool. The damn menu, the damn theme of that freaking base is so damn dope. It is catchy as hell. It's like some futuristic synth, just a techno that is totally up my alley. But either way, pretty great, pretty substantial. So, but all in all, that's pretty much what I have, you know, discovered, played with Astral Chain. I thoroughly enjoyed it from what I played so far, and I'm definitely planning to play more. Well, you know, now with the imminent release of Gears 5 and Monster, that might be on the back burner for a bit, but I definitely plan to get back to it. But definitely from what I played, I was thoroughly impressed, and definitely feels like a, you know, substantial established platinum game for sure. And I forgot to mention, the graphics, man, are impeccable. They are so great, especially, you know, considering it's a Switch game. Just the environments look just great. Just how they managed to just make everything pop and look just definitive. It was kind of astounding. I'd arguably say this might be the best looking Switch game graphically for sure. I mean, obviously they use cell shading, presumably, I'm pretty sure, but from what I saw and played, it looked great. And on top of that, from a performance standpoint, it definitely looked very smooth. I believe it's 30 frames. I'm pretty sure it's 30 frames, but for what I played, I was pretty impressed in terms of that too. Like, on top of it looking good and performing just as well also. So all in all, pretty impressed with Astral Chain. Definitely would like to play more, but I find that not gonna be likely with these imminent blockbusters coming out tomorrow. That's crazy. Gears 5 and Monster Hunter coming on the same day. That is not right. That is not right. Don't do this, guys. Let's try to space out these releases or something. But at the same time, I do want them, so I don't know. Yeah. So other than that, that's pretty much what I've been up to playing wise. Of course, you know, play a little bit of For Honor a little bit. Outside of that, yeah, that's pretty much it. In terms of what I've been watching in general, still chugging with Orange is the New Black. I think I'm on episode 8. But I definitely got some more time over the Labor Day weekend to catch up on that a little bit. I definitely at some point plan to finish that. But I'm thoroughly invested with still what I've been seeing so far. I don't want to go too much into it in terms of plot developments and all of that, but I will say pretty great. Yeah, I think that's it, guys. I am very surprised with how much time I did make for that, but nonetheless, a day early Switches Sites podcast. Some housekeeping, of course. Please be sure to if you're listening this to your the respective popular podcast platforms, that is currently Spotify, iTunes, and why can I not? Google Podcasts. Please be sure to like, rate, subscribe, all respective positive or negative feedbacks platform. You can greatly be appreciated either way. You can also follow me on the platform I am now been regularly streaming on, which is Twitch, twitch.tv/aswitch. You can also catch me on YouTube at youtube.com/aswitch. If you have any questions you'd like me to answer on the podcast, feel free to shoot an email to my email at aswitchtv@gmail.com as well. Again, if I amass or group up enough, I'll dedicate a segment to answering those questions as well. Also, feel free to support and keep the lights going on my Patreon at patreon.com/aswitch as well. Again, for all respective platforms, I do plan to make a comeback. I've been dormant, I know, but best believe, slowly but surely, I will make a comeback and start producing and making content again, like I should. Not like I should, like I want. That's better. That's more important. But yeah, guys, until next time, man, it's gonna be a great week. This is a great week overall, you know. Man, you got Gears 5, got Monster Hunter World, got all these damn Switch announcements, Terry Bogard and Smash, Deadly Premonition 2, Nintendo Switch. I get to play Brawl Brothers, aka Russian Beast Syria, on my Nintendo Switch. Life is great right now. You can't tell me nothing, okay? You can't tell me a damn thing. Till next time, guys.
Oh yeah.
Like I ate a frog. Ate a damn frog. I didn't eat one though.